Good morning, this is Nick with Williams Sewer Line Inspectors. I'm performing a video inspection of 2847 South Holt Avenue in Los Angeles. Right now, we are looking into the city sewer in the distance. This is the connection. All around the edges of the screen is the pipe sections which are connecting to the city sewer. As you can see at the very corner of the hole in the center, which is the actual main city sewer, there's a little bit of a hairline crack running up. That's about center screen and to a little bit to the left. This crack is not very developed at this time, and there's no roots coming in through it, as well as it's not in the flow of water. There's really not a whole lot to worry about with that particular crack. One thing to note is that the city sewer and the lateral that's going underneath the street, that's the section of sewer piping which is underneath the city street, while it's still the responsibility of this home for any repairs or maintenance should they become necessary, it is originally installed by the city, and they used a concrete material. The city sewer is still concrete here. I've noticed in the area that a lot of this old concrete is being replaced by the city at this time. This part for this house has not been replaced yet. Everything back here, from this point back towards the house, underneath the street looks to be concrete. You can tell it's a very rough aggregate. It's over time corroding and decomposing with the sewage chemicals and water that's running through the system. So really the best thing to know about this concrete is that while it performs very similarly to clay pipe, which is a completely approved material at this time by the city, concrete does decompose and corrode over time, and you can see that it becomes very rough, whereas the upper edges of the wall are smooth. That's what the concrete pipe originally looks like. It starts to wear away and you start to see the aggregate inside the concrete. It's not likely to be any trouble in terms of leaking sewage from the system at this time, but it is no longer a approved material for the Los Angeles City for new construction. So if you were to get a building permit for this house to put a second story or do a major addition or to add extra bathrooms to the sewer line, the city may require that your entire sewer line be composed of materials which are currently listed as approved building materials for sewer lines, which would be plastic or clay typically. And in that case, they may require a city inspector come out and have a look at the sewer line materials that you have currently with a similar video camera inspection as we're doing right now. If they see that this is concrete, they are able to request that you go ahead and upgrade the concrete before they sign off any finals on your building permit. And then at this point we're going, I think, just after the sidewalk into the front yard area. And we've transitioned from the concrete to, it looks like, a cast iron material. This cast iron is very heavily eroded at this time. It's undergone a lot of rusting up to this point, and it looks to be very heavily deformed in some areas, a lot of flattening of the pipe at the bottom, some jagged edges there. I don't see any absolute indications of failure at this time. What's this? Could be some debris in the pipe. What we really look for in cast iron to tell that it's actually failed is some signs that holes have formed in the pipe walls. One of those is root intrusions coming in through the pipe, which can't happen unless there's a hole in the pipe wall in cast iron. Another is actually just seeing the crack in the line. there's a lot of sign of very heavy deterioration and oxidation going on here, but I don't actually see a definite sign of failure. I'll go ahead and mark this cast iron section starts in the front yard. I'll mark with a little bit of green paint on the dirt where this section starts. It is optional at this time if you wish to replace this. It will need to be replaced in the next anything from, I'd say, as little as 1 year to as much as 10 years. It's just very much aged at this time. And this is where the line transitions from that cast iron to plastic. And all the rest of the line that we can see at this time is plastic. We got into the line from an access point, which is just at the very back property line near the corner of the back garage conversion. And this plastic pipe is actually really good. You won't get corrosion or erosion or oxidation with plastic pipe. Also, it doesn't allow for roots to come in through the joints, so it doesn't require maintenance typically. And it's flexible, so it won't crack. So overall, plastic pipe lasts for about 200 years as an estimated lifetime at this time, though it may last for quite some more time than that. One thing that you'll see typically in plastic lines is, because the pipe is a flexible material, while the overall pipe will be going downhill, some sections may have little bellies as the pipe bends. They'll install about 10-foot sections of this pipe often, and it's sometimes difficult for the plumber to keep it perfectly straight. So it's not typically a problem for plastic, small bends in the pipe. They will hold water, and we'll see little puddles of water perhaps. Other than that, they're not typically any problem in the plastic lines, as it doesn't corrode. The water sitting in it is not a problem for it. Really, the only thing that can go wrong with plastic is sometimes it's not installed correctly, and no glue will be used to make the joints, which will allow roots to enter through the system. We're not seeing any roots coming into this plastic line at this time, which indicates that they did do their joints correctly. This is the access that we had into the line today. This access is not for this system, just because it's 160 something feet from here to the city sewer. At this time, there isn't really a cleaning that appeared to be needed on the line. So installation of a proper access point could be delayed until, I would say, up to a year from now, when a repeat inspection would verify whether or not roots have started to come into this line. What will happen is, as a building is vacant, it will not have very much water running through its system, so sometimes the roots take quite some more time to get into the line. Once it starts being used, you'll typically get a lot more aggressive roots coming in, particularly if new trees are planted or sod is put on the front yard. At that time, inspection could show whether or not a routine of cleaning should be adopted at that time. So for now, there's nothing that absolutely has to be replaced in this system, though that cast iron is probably only going to last another 5 years or so and should be replaced within that time, or at least looked at again to make sure that it hasn't failed. Again, this is Nick with Williams Sewer Line Inspectors. Please see my written report for all final findings and recommendations. Thank you very much, and have a great day.